Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Mike Mihalik here at WeatherWorks, and we have a special weather update for Hurricane Laura. And Brad, we're going to go right to the satellite picture. Meteorologist Brad Miller with us here today, and he's here to discuss this storm too. So, how are you, Brad? How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good, Mike. Kind of a quiet day here in the Poconos, enjoying some sunshine. We're gonna have an active day here in the Northeast on Thursday, but it will pale in comparison to what some of the folks down into parts of Louisiana and Texas here are going to have to deal with here in the next 12 to 24 hours. And there is Hurricane Laura. It's a Category
Mm,
4 hurricane. Winds are now sustained at 140 miles per hour, at least maximum
right.
sustained winds. And it's still got about 12 hours or so before it makes landfall. So it's has a possibility, unfortunately, Mike, to strengthen even further. We could maybe get towards Category 5 here. Before landfall, sometime around midnight, give or take an hour. But it's got the warm Gulf water still to go over here for
Right.
several more hours, and unfortunately, it's either way, Cat 4, Cat 5. It's going to be a devastating hurricane here for those parts of the United States, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And looking at the latest visible satellite here, we're starting to see that eye become a bit more symmetrical here,
Hmm.
right in the center of the storm here. That eye's starting to clear out. I see all those clouds are starting to, kind of clear out in the center of the storm. So that's indicating more strengthening
Right.
occurring.
I mean, it means the air is actually still sinking inside of that,
Hmm.
which is what happens inside of a eye of a hurricane. The air sinks and everything around is, rising, and that is a, definite sign that the storm is still intensifying and strengthening.
No, absolutely. And then if we look at the infrared satellite here, it gives us a better idea of how deep that convection is around the hurricane itself. And you could see those really dark reds are really wrapping around the center here, the eye of Hurricane Laura. And, certainly a sign of strength that you're seeing this nice outflow going through the southern Gulf states and even through the south Gulf of Mexico here.
Hmm.
So it's still a healthy storm. It looks like it's going to continue and maintain, if not strengthen, like we talked about before. And it's not that far away from landfall. You can already see some of these feeder bands from the hurricane making or coming on shore here in Louisiana from Homa all the way over to Beaumont.
Hmm.
So certainly starting to feel those effects already, Brad, as it makes that trek a little bit turn towards the north here as we go over
Yeah,
the
I
next
mean,
couple hours.
yeah, the eye wall obviously is the strongest part of this hurricane and always is. But
Hmm.
even some of these feeder bands that you're talking about, Mike,
Hmm.
they will contain even tropical storm force winds. You may get a few gusts here to 60, 70 miles per hour.
Hmm.
Again, they're mainly bands, like you were saying. And what'll happen is it'll move through. You'll get a quick downpour, some really gusty winds, and the sun will probably come back out until the main storm itself arrives here later on tonight. But yeah, definitely a sign of what's to come here in the next 12 to 24 hours here for a good portion of Louisiana and right on there towards I guess the eastern part of Texas. Looks like Houston may be just on the western side of the storm.
Hmm.
Folks there are still dealing with the effects of Harvey just a few years ago when they got almost 60 inches of rain. So they don't need this, that's for sure. Nobody needs this, obviously, but it looks like
Yeah.
Houston will be spared the worst of the storm. But still, I'm sure they're preparing for at least some hurricane force winds and some storm surge there as well.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about this storm, if there is any good thing,
All
is
right.
that it is moving
Mm-hmm.
fairly well. It's moving at 16 miles an hour, and that's basically due to this big upper level trough across the plain states you see there in yellow, and that's kind of forcing this storm to take that turn to the north. So that's why we're getting this landfall in the southern Gulf Coast. But that's what keeps it moving. That's what doesn't give us those Harvey 30 to 50-inch
I know.
rainfalls over the course of a week. So that's the one decent thing. But the wind with this storm is going to be a major impact
Mm-hmm.
for the border of Texas and Louisiana. If we take a look at the track, Brad, this is staying a major hurricane like we talked about before, possibly even strengthening a little bit further. It's a Category 4. Hopefully, it doesn't reach that Category 5 level, which is you know over 156 miles an hour. So We'll see how that goes as it goes into the night here, making landfall sometime in that midnight hour between
Hmm.
12 and 2 a.m. Central Time. And then it takes that trek through the Tennessee Valley and even into the mid-Atlantic, bringing some rainfall to the Northeast.
Yeah, it looks like as it does get over land, obviously it will weaken, but it should start to pick up speed too. But yeah, the remnants are going to probably slide right through the mid-Atlantic there, and possibly even becoming a post-tropical storm again
Mm,
by late in the weekend as it gets back over the Atlantic waters. By then, it's quickly moving though east northeast. But if
yeah.
we get anything, it'll just be rain concerns here in the northeast. There could be a little severe threat with it by the weekend as well, but that's also because of another trough that'll be moving in. But
Hmm.
the big issue again will be the wind and the storm surge with this storm is going to be catastrophic, unfortunately, for a few of those areas of Louisiana and Texas. And
Yeah.
uh,
Let's
what are we
take a
looking at?
look at that storm surge right now,
Yeah.
Brad. That's one thing we didn't hit on. We hit on the rain, we hit on the wind,
Hmm.
but man, this storm surge going to be really high on that
Yeah,
eastern
15
side
to
of the eye
20
wall.
feet. And one thing I do want to mention, the National Hurricane Center continues with their updates every 6 hours, and they have an intermediate update then every 3 hours. And but one key message that they kept on posting, and they still are in every discussion, is and it's kind of scary to think about, but they have written unsurvivable storm surge with large and destructive waves
Wow.
will cause catastrophic damage from Searim State Park, Texas, to Intercoastal City, Louisiana. So, I mean, when the Hurricane Center is using strong wording like that, that they mean business, and that's something that hopefully everyone heeds that advice
Yeah,
because it's
absolutely.
yeah, there's going to be a lot of issues down there. But the storm surge, it's a wall of water, Mike. It's 15
Yeah,
to 20 foot wall of water. It's going to be
yeah.
coming on shore there.
15 to 20-foot water rise. You have waves on top of that
Right.
yet. So that's going to be just catastrophic for this area for sure.
Hmm.
There's no other way to sugarcoat it.
I know. It's just
This is just a major hurricane, a pretty dire situation where people have to heed the warnings, have to make their evacuations, like they're being told in the warnings. So, and like we said, making that landfall anywhere between here, Port Arthur, right around here through Lake Charles, I think is where the eye will be. But
right.
remember, you're still going to have effects with strong winds and rain further out from the exact center. That's where the core of the winds will go through,
Right.
but you're still going to have hurricane force winds further out than that.
And then in that northeast quadrant is always very dangerous too. You're probably, if the eye makes landfall, let's just say it makes landfall at the Texas Louisiana line there.
Hmm.
All of southern Louisiana, including probably New Orleans, is going to be in that northeast quadrant, and
Mm.
that's a tornado threat. So I'm almost positive there'll be a tornado watch for that area later on today as the storm gets closer, and that portion of the storm has the northeast wind,
Hmm.
and of course it's also where you get the best chance for severe weather and tornadoes
Right.
that's associated with a landfalling hurricane.
Yeah, certainly. Like Brad was saying, if you look at my cursor here, basically this area will be primed for tornadoes
Yeah.
as it makes landfall. The wind, or sorry, the rainfall with the storm, somewhere between 5 to 10 inches here. So we're not looking at again those excessive amounts of rains that can occur with hurricanes
Right.
because we do have it moving on at a pretty good clip, moving on shore. So still a lot of rain, but guys, it's the wind, it's the surge and you know just really guys just heed the warnings out there. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I could
Yeah,
say
there's
that.
plenty of media down there. I'm sure we're going to see plenty of Twitter videos and stuff on Facebook, and unfortunately, it's going to be a tough situation here for the next 24 hours down there, and just
Yep.
hopefully everyone, like Mike said, heeds the warning and takes cover and at least evacuates. There's been evacuations going on for the last 24 hours for that
Mhm.
area, so hopefully everyone gets out in time.
Yep, I think hopefully everybody is good with those warnings. And guys, that's our update here for Hurricane Laura. Keep on to our social media pages. We'll have more updates heading through the next day or so about the hurricane. And in the meantime, stay safe out there, and we'll see you again in the next weather update later this week.